Hello, hello, hello. I'm just going to do a little video on how you would make dried beans over the stove instead of just using canned beans. I do have canned beans for quick and easy meals, like if I'm making like a quick chili or anything like that. But if you make your own beans, it's cheaper and you can set it and forget it in a crock pot. But I am going to soak mine overnight and then I will put them in the crock pot in the morning. 1 pound of beans is 2 cups. So I just put them in here like so. And you always want to go through your beans and see if there are imperfections or there's little pebbles sometimes. So you want to always be diligent about looking through your dried beans. And then, of course, you want to cover your dried beans. So I'm going to cover these beans until there are a few inches of water above the beans. And this is just for soaking, so you don't have to worry if there's too much water. If you put more water, the soak will be better. It will make your beans absorb the water and they will, you know, like puff up. Like the canned beans are soft and they are a lot fatter or plumper. Okay, so I did about 5 cups of water over top. And I'll show you. I have good light. There is plenty of water over top of these beans. It's going to be a good soak. For myself, my preference is to put nothing in my water. Some people add bouillon. Some people add just table salt. But I don't soak them with anything because the next day is when I add my seasoning. I don't know how salty it's going to be if I put salt in and then I, season my water. Well, I also have saved off the drippings from my ham. So I will be putting one of my mason jars of the drippings and then the water to cover it up so I won't have to add any salt at all whatsoever. Ham is very salty and it will just flavor the beans perfectly. I won't need to, like I said, add any salt. I will, of course, add lots and lots and lots of pepper, but that is how you make your beans. I will stop for now and show you once I put them in the crock pot tomorrow, everything that I add, all of the seasonings, and I will see you then. Hey, hello, hello. It is the next day and I'm about to put my dry beans that I left for soaking last night into the crock pot. So I'm going to rinse those out. Okay, I've got my colander out and I am just simply pouring these beans into the colander to rinse them. It has been overnight soaked and I am going to add them back into the crock pot when I am done with seasonings and ham, and we're going to set it and forget it for the day. So now that my crock pot is ready, I just dump my beans in. And I have a bag from my ham last night. Bone and all, I stick in the ham, just off to the side, because it is going to be filled up with a broth and with some water, of course. Now, some people use different things. Usually, I use chicken broth. And I use, of course, the salt and water. So to season in the crock pot. Super easy. Like I said, you just set it and forget it. Of course, on the top, this is jellied overnight. It is the drippings from my ham. Instead of using chicken broth, I am just dumping that jar into the top. I have a 4-cup. Oh, where's my 4-cup? Oh, please. Oh my gosh, it's literally right here underneath the camera. But I am going to add the 4-cup because I want to cover all of the beans. They're going to really plump up as you cook them, and all of the drippings are going to season them. I will only need to add pepper. This is the easiest freaking way that I have made beans, and they come out perfect every single time. Now for this recipe, I'm obviously adding ham. I generally just add the 2 cups of dried beans, my bouillon, and my seasoning to the mix. You can get creative with it if you're doing something with the chicken bouillon and maybe you're having chicken with your beans for the night. It's just your side. You don't even have to worry about adding the chicken bouillon and it tasting flavored like chicken because you're already having chicken. Maybe make a gravy with the drippings that are in the beans or the juices that are cooking the beans. But if that's the case, I would definitely put some poultry seasoning at the end because I've used it before and it turns out super good. Now I would put a tablespoon of pepper, and you can measure it out. I'm just going to eyeball it. Now my crock pot is super. Okay, I had to switch the outlet for that. I don't want to pop the breaker. So this Bella, you just push the power on and you select how many hours you want to cook it for. I am going to do 8 hours, low and slow. I'm going to stir the pepper into the beans. I'm just stirring around that bone. Get those beans nice and seasoned. I'm going to pop the lid on it. And I'm going to let it cook for 8 hours. Now, I have to admit, this is only my second YouTube video. So if there's anything that you felt like I was not putting in as far as like maybe how many cups of the drippings that I used, I would definitely say that that was 2 cups worth of drippings. But I didn't put that in when I was first videoing, so I will do that now. I'm trying to think of any questions that you might have for me as far as the dry bean goes. It's an overnight soak with dry beans, and then I set it and forget it in my crock pot because not only is it easy for me, but if I have instructions for my daughter or my son to use a crock pot like this, I don't have to worry that they're going to be disappointed that they messed it up, because as long as you soak them overnight and cook them thoroughly in the crock pot with a broth for the salt intake, you can just use plain broth. Or as I'm doing with the drippings and the bone in, adding some ham at the end of it, it will turn out delicious. They will be tender and ready to eat every single time. So I hope that was very helpful for you. And leave in the comments if you have done this recipe before with the drippings and what you used to season your beans. If there was any veggies that you put in there at the end, I'd like to know, because I'm constantly trying new recipes and it definitely helps me to improve. So I hope you have a great day. Bye.